everyone, welcome to Discuss Taco. This is going to be a show about a little bit of everything. My name is Allie, and I have my two wonderful co-hosts here, Evie and Stark. Please bear with us again, as we are pretty new to this, but hopefully as we cover the topics we're interested in, you'll be as entertained as we are. We meant to do this show on Halloween, but shit got in the way, so we're doing it in November, because why not? Now, for, as usual, more formal introduction, I'm Allie.
Evie.
Stark.
And tonight is the supernatural, or, in those categories.
There are different experiences with
Things that go bump in the night.
Yeah, there we go. Alright, so who wants to start?
Well, I don't know. We're doing everything, right? We're doing Ouija boards, ghosts, the whole 9 yards.
Yep.
I have a fair amount of stories.
Is it Ouija or Ouija?
I don't know. Depends on who you ask.
Oh.
Y'all are gonna hate me. I say a Ouija.
A Ouija?
A Ouija?
A Ouija board.
A Ouija.
Okay, well, I will start with one story that I have always found to be confusing, let's say. I was playing with a Ouija board with 4 friends when I was a teenager. And I'm not going to go into any kind of detail about these 4 girls, but let's just say maybe not the sharpest tools in the shed. Anywho, we were taking turns where 4 of us would actually put your fingers on the planchette, and one person would write down whatever came up. So one of these girls asked the spirit in bunny ears.
Spirit had bunny ears.
Well, in quotation marks, whatever you want to say. If she was going to get a boyfriend anytime soon.
Yes, because the ghosts are going to know that.
Yes, of course they will. They have access to all that information on the other side. So anyway, it starts spelling out letter after letter after letter after letter, and I was the one writing these down. And when it finally stopped, it took us a while to decipher it out. But the thing spelled out, fate is not to be discussed with those who have not walked the path of darkness. And everybody kind of lost their shit. Because, it made it seem so real. Because I was going, I just can't see any of these girls making that up. It shocked me. And to this day, I honestly don't know. I don't know if it was real or...
Appropriate response.
Yeah.
Well, I refuse to touch Ouija boards for the simple fact of, paranormal activity. But those movies have kind of thrown me off Ouija boards.
Yeah.
So, how about you, Stark?
I have not too much experience with the Ouija boards, so not too much of a story. I've seen the ones on YouTube, and I don't know if I don't know too much about them, so.
Well, I have one other thing it's a little bit embarrassing, but I actually have more stories with Ouija boards, but I won't monopolize this. But I had moved to a different city, and my Ouija board was in a cupboard with all my other games and different things like that. And I was watching a show about incubi and succubi. And I couldn't tell you what it was about beyond that, but they said that Ouija boards were a conduit for incubi and succubi, especially if you did not properly close the board.
Yeah.
And I sat there and I'm like, what does that mean? And I kind of thought if I didn't know what it meant, I probably had never done it. Which I know now it means saying goodbye.
Yeah.
But I had never done that. So I literally, it was about 12:30 at night. I got up out of my bed. I grabbed the Ouija board. I went outside and I threw it in the trash can. And I have never touched another one since.
Well, fun fact about the boards. Do you know who created the Ouija board?
No, I don't.
Hasbro.
Really?
Hasbro created the Ouija board for a Halloween-themed board game. And people started getting freaked out.
I thought they existed before that, no?
Well, like, not... there was something similar to it, but it wasn't called a Ouija board.
Gotcha.
The spirit
It was a
board.
spirit board.
Okay, yeah.
And it was only used for, like...
By definition.
Yeah.
Okay.
It wasn't a game. It wasn't something that you
Yeah,
used to
well, and that's what mine was. It was
Yeah.
literally... It was I think it was Parker Brothers, I want to say is what it said on the box, but I got it for a Christmas present
Yeah.
when I was like 12 years old. And
But Hasbro came out with the Ouija board to have as a Halloween game, pretty much, like a print game, and then people started getting freaked out because apparently it actually worked. My friend Hannah actually has a glow-in-the-dark one that she still has that on the box it says Hasbro and has the whole backstory on it.
really?
Yeah, but hers glows in the dark, and if I find it very hard to believe that a Ouija board that glows in the dark is real.
Well, they had a thing we were watching not that long ago about where the name came from, and that they thought that it was French and German, and basically it was the word yes in both languages, and I'm like, that doesn't make it the yes board? Like, shouldn't it be the yes no board? Like, I'm confused.
Well, the we in French, yes.
Yeah.
And I thought the ja was like Dutch German for yes also.
Yeah, so it would be the yes board.
Yeah.
So yes, board.
It doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
No, but Hasbro came out with it as like a game.
That's crazy. Yeah, I always just assumed that the game ones came after, like it was something that already existed and they made a game out of it.
Yeah, but it wasn't supposed to be used for a game, is what I'm saying. Hasbro kind of picked it up and they're like, "This is fun for Halloween.
Yeah.
Like, let's give this to 4-year-olds, you know." 'Cause, you know, your 4-year-old won't summon a demon in your kitchen. It's okay.
That's crazy. Yeah, I guess there's really not, especially if you guys don't really have too many Ouija stories. I have one other one, but I don't know. It's kind of silly in a way. But I guess we could probably move on to like ghosts or something, because I think we all have a little bit of experiences with that arena, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, more so.
I think we all have ghost stories or ghost tales or whatever you would like to call them. So, who wants to go first?
Hell, I'll take this one.
So I was hoping for.
Give me the side eye. I saw that. Let's see. My father, myself, and my mother was all clearing some bush and brush out by a creek on our property. And the existing farmland across the road, about 150 yards or so, give or take, from the house hadn't been cleared, and there was a lot of saplings and probably 2-3 inch trees. Well, my father looked up and kind of had this curious look on his face. I looked up and there was a chick in a white dress. My mom looked up, saw the same exact thing. We all kind of looked at each other, and of course she'd gone. You know, typical. You know,
typical ghost in the white dress
yeah.
story.
Anyway, kind of went up that way, and in that bunch of brush, there we found a graveyard. Told you this story.
Yeah.
Um,
I still want to know why they always wear white.
I don't know. White, red, blue, gray, black.
I've never really heard gray.
Yeah, there's gray ladies all over. I've got plenty more, but who wants to take the next one?
Well, let's see. I had a house that I lived in from the ages of about 10 to 22-ish. And oddly enough, my mother knew the people who lived in it before us, and they never said anything about anything weird in the house, anything like that. And I actually had the biggest bedroom in the house. My mom was nice enough to give me what would have been the master bedroom of the house.
Spoiled.
Yes, I was. I'm not gonna lie. And I had this stereo, which, mind you, this is dating me some, but this is pre-CD or anything like that. It was a record player with cassette decks. And I won't say what band I was listening to because I will never hear the end of it. But I was listening to a hair metal band to fall asleep.
Mm-hmm.
And
Perfect sleeping music.
yeah, but I was very familiar with the cassette. I knew the order of the songs and so forth. And I was laying there, and all of a sudden, the music stopped. But it was in the middle of a song, and I was like, what the heck? Did something happen with my stereo? So I grabbed a flashlight, and I got up, and I shined the flashlight on the cassette player, and the cassette was still spinning, but no sound was coming out. And I'm kind of like, okay, that's really weird. And all of a sudden I hear, and this is it's going to sound so typical, but I swear this is exactly what happened. I hear a voice go, help me. And I about lost my shit. And I didn't press the power button immediately, but I was reaching for it. And just as my finger grazed the button, the music started playing again. And I literally dove back into my bed, put pillows over my head, pulled the covers up, and I'm going, oh, what the hell was that?
So that's what the monster wanted you to do.
And, it's like, I'm generally a more skeptical person. I do believe that ghosts exist, but it's like if somebody can give me a reason why something like that would happen, if they could explain it away, tell me. I'm all for hearing about it, because if it was somehow some faulty thing with the cassette. But I pulled the cassette out the next day, and it wasn't like it had been pulled apart or that any of the tape part was damaged in any way or anything like that. So, I'm all for hearing explanations of how something like that could happen. Okay, fine. Yes, I was sleepy. Maybe I didn't hear what I thought I heard. But I wasn't asleep. So,
Yeah.
I don't know, it freaked me out something awful. I was about 14 years old, and I was scared.
That is scary. That is creepy as fuck. Oof.
Yeah, that stereo, it wasn't the only time that stereo did that. I had, my best friend was over, and we were listening to another cassette, and you could hear what sounded, how cowboy boots have that bit of a heel to them, and when they walk on a wooden floor, it's kind of a clack, high
it's
heel
that distinct
shoes.
sound. Yeah.
And you could hear that clack in the middle of the music. And I am once again very familiar with what I was listening to. I knew that sound wasn't always there. So I'm like, was the stereo haunted? Was my house haunted? I had so many experiences in this house And I was telling him that I was downstairs cleaning up one time, and I had a glass. We had a wet bar in the basement, and it was sitting literally in the middle of the bar. The bar was probably, I don't know, maybe 3 feet wide. So it was sitting in the middle, and I was across the room dusting a shelf, and all of a sudden I hear crash, and I turn around, the glass is on the floor, broken. I mean, the bar wasn't wet. There was no reason why it would slide off. I wasn't anywhere near it. And, like, I was telling him about it, and I said, you know, if somebody wants to explain to me how that could happen in any other way than a supernatural way, like, I'm willing to listen, but I can't think of any other way.
Did you have any animals in the house with you, like cats?
We did, but they were both upstairs. I had a dog and a cat at the time. They were both upstairs. So I don't know. But I'm not sad that we're not in that house anymore. Let's just put it that way. How about you? Any weird experiences?
I have all kinds of weird experiences. One of my most like standout ghost stories that always freaks me out when I recall it was when I was at Stark's mom's house up in that creepy ass fucking attic with all the fucking teddy bears and baby dolls and shit. I remember there was, what were we even doing there?
Probably moving shit out.
All I know is she had upstairs in the attic. Now these steps were maybe like a fucking inch. You had to tiptoe going up these fucking stairs.
Those steps were 6.5 inches wide.
Okay, you still had to tiptoe to go up these motherfucking stairs.
Yeah.
Your whole foot could not go on these stairs.
It's only about that wide.
Yeah. And went upstairs, was checking it out, being nosy like I do. And in one of the rooms up in the attic, there was a bunch of dolls and teddy bears. And specifically, there was teddy bears on a bench. And one of the teddy bears were off the bench. So me being me, I'm like, oh, you need to go back in your place. So I picked up the teddy bear, put it back on the bench. I turn around to go find Stark, and I feel a hand push my back very roughly. Yeah. Like they were mad at me, and I turn around, and the teddy bear's not on the bench anymore. And I'm like, nope. I'm done. Here I go. Goodbye, guys. Like, I went down the stairs. I'm like, nope, I'm not. Nope.
There are both ghosts and actually, on the flip side, debunked a couple ghost sightings.
Really?
Yeah. Myself...
And you debunked me being pushed? Was it the teddy bear?
I didn't debunk that one, no. Tom, my father...
R.I.P.
Yeah, whatever. Died. And my mother was living in our old house. The house was over 100 years old. We had added to it over the years. But she couldn't take care of it anymore. I was living in Kentucky, but, you know, I'd have my life. Anyway, she's going to sell it and move into a trailer closer to my sister. Well, me was moving stuff out, and she had this gray thing fly at her face, and she was telling me about it. Well, probably a few weeks later, I had this gray thing. Basically, it looked like a gray Walmart bag fly at my face. Really fast and off in another direction. Well, I kept thinking about it. I told her about it, and she said basically that was the same thing she saw. It was going in from the kitchen into the dining room. I didn't know of any others that had any kind of sightings there. So we was moving stuff around, and I happened to start packing up the stereo. There's stereo wires around that door, plus there's a power cord around that door, telephone wires around that door, plus there's a big electrical wires running up and down that wall. So there's EMF going all over that,
Yeah.
around that door.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you had me terrified to go to that house. I mean, from everything that you had told me over the time, over the years, that when, it came time for me to live in that house, I was well and duly freaked out. I was waiting for all kinds of stuff to happen, and blessedly, I never had any experiences with anything there. I mean, the whole house has weird vibes.
Oh yeah. Oh
but
yeah.
nothing unusual happened, and
So what flew at your face?
It looked like a gray plastic bag.
The haunted Walmart bag.
Yeah. So
To
basically,
suffocate you.
when I took all that down,
Yeah.
got all that I could, that weird feeling stopped.
Yeah, that's one of the things that they say
EMF.
a lot, that if you have a lot of power cords and different things, that EMF can make you feel sick and make you see things, and that's one of the first things that a lot of the ghost hunters check out, before they say this is legit. But and I don't know, I mean, maybe that could have had something to do with my experiences at the house I lived at. I honestly have no idea. But yeah, it was, I had my best friend at the time, she very much believed in everything supernatural, and I mean, it is the strangest thing to say out loud, but this girl was convinced, that Ozzy Osbourne had it out for her and was trying to kill her.
She's trying to bite her head.
I mean, it was the weirdest thing. Like, you want to talk about somebody that believes in conspiracy theories and the whole 9 yards. I mean, every little thing that happened was a sign, and it was just, here's me with my, logical Virgo brain going, you're crazy, but I didn't want to say anything because she was my best friend. But I mean, some weird stuff happened there too. There was a contest on MTV when MTV was still MTV and actually played music. And it was, I don't even remember what it was you were supposed to send in, but it was mail them something in New York City at the MTV studios, mail them something to win tickets to an Ozzy concert in your town. And she came up to me at school and she's like, put this, your lunch is before mine, put this in the mail for me. And I'm like, dude, this contest ended like 2 days ago. She's like, just mail it. And I'm like, fine, whatever. Somehow, bitch won. I have no idea how. It didn't even get mailed till 2 days after the thing supposedly ended. But somehow she won. And so, I mean, yay. Woohoo, I got to see Ozzy in second row seats. Like, how many people get to say that, like, it was great, but it was weird.
Speaking of conspiracy theories and stuff like that, how do you feel about cryptids, Evie?
Great segue.
I am exceedingly skeptical. I don't... It's hard for me. I mean, I'm not going to put my foot down and say they don't exist, but it's very difficult for me to believe that they do when literally every human being is running around with a camera in their pocket and nobody can seem to get close up video or a picture or something when they haven't found Bigfoot poop. They haven't found evidence of babies.
Maybe they
haven't
cover it up. There's some animals out there that cover up their poop.
Oh, I know. I mean, that's one of the arguments, that they bury their dead, that they're like us. They bury their dead and the whole 9 yards. But, you know, until I can see some legit evidence, I just can't buy into it. I really can't. I mean, more power to people if that's what, you know, if that's your belief, or some of these people where it's literally a crusade where they're putting up cameras in the woods and everything trying to catch them. You know, maybe they're right. Maybe they will catch it one day. I don't know. But as of right now, I just can't believe in it.
I say some of them, you know, the individuals out there say the goat man that's supposed to be here, or the
Jersey Devil.
Jersey Devil. Sorry, New Jersey. don't at me.
They're gonna come at you.
Yeah. I don't know straight. The single ones out there
The skunk ape in Florida.
Well, no. That's part of Bigfoot.
That's part of Bigfoot.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But like the Mothman.
Oh, yeah.
Why would the Mothman just stay right there?
That one's an I don't know. That one, for me, that one's an I don't know.
Okay, but like, if Mothman was real, if he ever was real, there'd have to be more Mothmen.
That would have to be.
Because people are still seeing
That would
it.
have to be kind of a mistaken identity. That would have to be there's something out there that they're seeing that is. I don't know.
Well, like, I believe in Mothman just for the fact that I think, like, the stuffed animals of him are cute.
Okay, fine. You know, sure, it's real. Then it's the stuffed animals. You know, fine. You got me. You got me. Okay.
My thing is, they have a whole statue of him, but
Okay.
why would there just be one? There'd have to be more Mothmen.
Well, that's kind of what my argument has been for Nessie, the Loch Ness Monster, this whole time. And I'm like, even if you want to say, okay, somehow this aquatic dinosaur still exists because it's aquatic, I mean, things that were in the water, there's a lot of things like that. What's that weird fish with the bony teeth? That's been around since dinosaur times. It's got a weird name like Dunklosaur or something. I don't know. It's weird. Anyway, a lot of things that were in the ocean or deep in lakes survived when the dinosaurs went extinct because they were deep in the ocean.
Yeah, and with the Ice Age, a lot of the aquatic life survived.
Yeah, so if you want to say, okay, fine, somehow this creature, Nessie, survived, there would have to be more of them to be breeding. I mean, they're not immortal. So where's the evidence of the babies? It just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, even like the Nessie thing, the famous photograph, even that guy admitted that he lied.
Yeah, he was fake.
That it was fake.
Yeah.
So it's like, and that was the thing people were basing it on for like 50 years. But
The only explanation I would have with Nessie that would be plausible, someone said there was like a lot of eel dung.
Of what?
Eel dung.
What the hell is that?
Eel dung?
Eel poop?
Yeah, eel poop.
Okay.
In the bottom of the Loch Ness. The only thing I can say is maybe these people are seeing a gigantic eel that they're not, recognizing its size
Yeah.
and saying, hey, and it's creating quite a wake behind it, so it's looking larger than what it normally would.
Well, and one of the things that I feel like nobody ever really asks, and even if they did, they're probably not going to get an honest answer, is how drunk were you? How high were you? What were you on when you saw this thing? And it's like nobody ever asks that. And, you know, I mean, even if they did ask it, they're probably not going to get an honest answer because the person doesn't want it to be written off due to, oh, well, you were just drunk or whatever.
That's another thing that I think is funny, though. Whenever you see pictures of cryptids or videos of cryptids, they're always blurry.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
With smartphones, they usually aren't blurry. If you go to take a picture, even if you are moving the slightest, it's not so blurry you cannot tell what it is.
A lot of these, I think, okay, like, say, the Bigfoots, okay? They're the more photographed, they're the more videoed, and whatnot.
The well-known, conventional...
More well
Fuzzy
known.
photo cryptids.
Okay. My take is, yes, I believe that a lot of these are, in fact, hoaxes. They're fakes. But out of those hoaxes and fakes, 1, 2 out of 100, you know, out of that bunch, there's got to be maybe a real one there.
Yeah.
You know, I think they're so few and far between that, and they're so scarce. I mean, they're out of 1,000-mile territory, there might be 1, 2.
Yeah, but for them
that family group.
Well, for them to survive like that, there'd have to be, like, because there was, like, how do I say this? Like, the pack, like, the theories of the packs and shit like that with Bigfoot, there'd have to be at least 50 in a pack to survive a decade. 150 to survive 10 years.
I mean, the one thing I will give it is there are animals all the time, practically every year, that people have thought were extinct, and then somebody finds it and captures a photograph, or they actually capture the animal itself, like what was it called? I forget the exact name, but it's essentially like the Tasmanian tiger. And it looks kind of like a dog, but it's stripes on the back of it. And they thought...
the Tasmanian wolf.
Tasmanian wolf?
Tasmanian wolf.
They thought that was extinct forever and ever and ever. And then somebody managed to capture video of it. But it's still... Just because there was something that was captured like that, like... Even that fish that I mentioned earlier that's got the bony teeth.
Yeah.
That was another one that they were sure was extinct, and now they've found it. And there was a lizard recently, we were watching something where they were sure it was extinct, and then they found it. But they're not finding droves and droves and droves of them. So, you know, they probably are going to go back to extinction before too long, because they're not finding that many of them. And like I said, I'm not going to slam my foot down and say Bigfoot does not exist, it's all bullshit. But I need to see something. Like, I have a very hard time believing in things without any evidence, which is probably why I'm an atheist. But that's for another day.
Yeah. Well, you seen where they found all the sharks in Mammoth Cave, right?
Mm-mm.
They found like 3 different species of sharks in Mammoth Cave.
Really?
Yeah, they broke open, they found a new cave system, a new like area of it, and they broke it open, and they're like, ooh, new bacteria, you know, we're just finding all kinds of new, like, insects, new bacteria, etc., like the new, like, little things, you know? And then a guy caught a shark.
A live one.
A live shark.
How does that even happen? I mean, we're landlocked.
I have no idea.
She was talking about somebody found sharks in Mammoth Cave.
They found...
I've never heard that.
They found Like in one
I
of
had to
their
excuse myself.
well, in what part of it? Like not the. I forgot what part of it was, but they were pretty much they found a new tavern, like a new cave system part of it.
Yes.
And they were digging, and they're like, you know, they were finding all the new bacteria and the new insects and stuff like that. Because you know, cave systems most of the time, if it's undiscovered, it's going to have the different bacteria in it. And
how big were the sharks?
They weren't very big. They were smaller, but they're considered sharks. They were. I think the guy said that the biggest one they caught was like 3 feet. But they're sharks.
So it's a new species,
Yes.
freshwater shark. That's kind of cool.
But they found like 3 different types. Of course, they still haven't figured out like what the fuck they are. They haven't released anything new about what the fuck they are. But sharks looked like a shark, acted like a shark, swam like a shark in Mammoth Cave.
Yeah.
That's freaking cool.
Well, that's like, I was watching a video on YouTube the other day, and it was extinct animals that have been found alive in 2020. And, you know, it was all normal stuff until they got to number 2. Number 2 was Bigfoot.
Number 1 was Megalodon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm going, dude, are you... Oh, well, there's the Mariana Trench, and we have no idea what's down there. And I'm like, first of all, the Megalodon was essentially what the Great White is now.
Yeah.
It did not live that deep down. It was an up high, or whatever you want to say. It was closer to the surface, just like great whites are. Like, why would it all of a sudden be like, oh, people think that we went extinct, we better go deep down so they can't find us?
We gotta hide.
Like, I mean, it's so stupid. And I was really disappointed. I'm like, this video it made sense until you got to number 2 and number 1.
Come on, Bill.
And it's like you had to just go and screw it all up. You know, I mean, I'm interested in if they're wrong about the extinction of something. Like, yeah, I'm interested in that. Tell me about it, but don't tell
Unless
me
they
about.
try to bring back T-Rexes, then I'm gonna.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be like, please don't.
I mean, it's probably only a matter of time.
Now,
to be
woolly
honest.
mammoths might be interesting.
Yeah. Do you see where they found mummified penguins in Antarctica with all the ice caps melting? They found mummified penguins.
It got really cold.
That's different.
All right. Well,
They
what
was all
about
lined up in their tuxedos, ready to go out, and all of a sudden, big whoosh, and just frozen. Yep, nowhere to go now.
You are such a dork.
how about the Fresno night crawlers, night walkers, whatever the fuck, the leggy things?
Oh, those white.
Yeah, the white leggy
The
things.
white lady.
The thing
ones
that
are
looks like
Oh,
it has, it's
like-
just
It's
legs
like a head and
and
head
a
and
head.
legs and
Okay,
head,
yeah,
and
yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
Why y'all think about those?
I think it's a hoax.
I think that some way or another they have a pulley system. No, I'm serious. They've got a pulley system, and they're basically the feet are they're grounded to a point where they're just.
Well, if you watch them walk, like sometimes their leg will go super high, and then like it'll like take a tiptoe, and then like the smaller one, because there's like a bigger one and a smaller one, and the smaller one looks like it has to run to keep up with the bigger one.
I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like, I know it's a little off topic because it's not your typical supernatural, but it's kind of this whole thing like with aliens, and it's like I do